Well, folks, Doug Emhoff is the official Jew at the top of the Biden administration. He is Kamala Harris's husband, and every year on Hanukkah, he releases a bizarre missive about Hanukkah that makes no sense. This year, he topped himself. Kamala Harris, the worst candidate in American history. Last night, she and Doug Emhoff, she's finding new ways to screw up this job. It's truly amazing. Last night, she and Doug Emhoff, the second gentleman, issued yet another hilarious Hanukkah missive. It's really funny. Every single year, Doug Emhoff, being the Jew, he's the person they tried out to be the Jew at Hanukkah time. Every year, he puts out some sort of missive about Hanukkah along with Kamala Harris that makes no sense. Last year, they put out a video about how Hanukkah was about love and light, clearly demonstrating that they actually knew nothing about the holiday or its origins. The actual story of Hanukkah is about religious Jews throwing Hellenists, Greek Hellenists, out of the temple and reconsecrating the nation to the biblical God. It's a very fundamentalist holiday. But last night, they really topped themselves. They confirmed they know nothing about Hanukkah with this insane post. So Doug Emhoff put this up on Twitter, quote, "The story of Hanukkah and the story of the Jewish people has always been one of hope and resilience. In the Hanukkah story, the Jewish people were forced into hiding. No one thought they would survive or that the few drops of oil they had would last, but they survived and the oil kept burning. During those 8 days in hiding, they recited their prayers and continued their traditions. That's why Hanukkah means dedication. It was during those dark nights that the Maccabees dedicated themselves to maintaining hope and faith in the oil, each other, and their Judaism. In these dark times, I think of that story." That is not even remotely the story of Hanukkah. I mean, that's not even like halfway to the story of Hanukkah. It's not in the same Venn diagram that Kamala Harris loves as the story of Hanukkah. I mean, if you're going to talk about the oil story, that is the rededication of the temple. They find a canister of oil. They have to relight the Hanukkah menorah. It's actually the menorah actually only has in the temple, it has fewer branches. They relight the menorah. It lasts for 8 days as opposed to lasting for 1 day. But that was about the rededication of the temple. It wasn't them like in hiding in a cave somewhere. What the hell? Like what? What in the what? In the what? These are the people who back up Joe Biden. Kamala Harris is his backup. She's even less popular than he is. So that's reason number one why Joe Biden is losing to Donald Trump is because he's terrible and his backup is terrible. But here's the thing. The election isn't held today. And this brings us to the second reason that Trump is leading Joe Biden in the polls right now. He is not in the news. That's also the reason that Trump is up in Iowa, head and shoulders above the rest of the candidates. Because he is not in the news, he is beating Biden. Ironically, he's actually using Biden's own 2020 strategy against Joe Biden. It's Donald Trump who's in the basement. He's not running around campaigning. He's literally either in court or back at Mar-a-Lago on Truth Social. And that means everyone's focused on Biden. And that means he's ahead in the polls. And that, in turn, takes the electability argument away from both Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, which was their number one argument, was that Trump couldn't win. Nominate us instead. Because Trump is not in the news, everyone has been able to look away from Trump's crazy, which has always been his Achilles heel. Ironically, one of the best things ever to happen to Donald Trump politically was his social media ban because it made him nearly invisible online. The fact that Trump actually put his own money into Truth Social and he doesn't want to lose that money, which is the reason he hasn't gone back to X even though he's been unbanned on X. Well, that means that we're not treated to a small media wildfire every time he tweets because he's on Truth Social where he has like 7 people watching him. As opposed to, on Twitter, where he has 70 million people watching him. Mostly, for Donald Trump, Truth Social now acts as a sort of venting mechanism, and everyone pretty much ignores it. And by the way, that is the best thing for Donald Trump overall. Think about everything you do or look at on your phone. From shopping and buying groceries to looking up a symptom on WebMD, the scary part is your phone carrier collects all that data on whatever it is that you are doing. They say that it's so they can better understand your interests and provide you the advertising that you want or that you need. But the reality is they make money off of you. The more they get on you, the larger their paycheck. This is why I use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is an app that prevents your phone carrier from being able to see the sites you visit and sell it off to third parties. All it takes is one tap of a button. All of your network data gets encrypted and rerouted through ExpressVPN's secure servers for ultimate privacy. It doesn't just shield your web browsing, by the way. ExpressVPN protects all your network data, so you can stay private even when you're using your favorite apps. Whether you're an iPhone, Android, or even a tablet user, ExpressVPN works on all your devices. The best part is that one subscription can be used on up to 5 devices at the same time. I've got my whole family using ExpressVPN as well. When your phone carrier tracks you, that's a gross invasion of privacy. You can either keep letting them do it, or you can visit expressvpn.com/Ben and get the same VPN I use. Take your online privacy back today. Use my link, get 3 extra months for free. That's expressvpn.com/Ben, expressvpn.com/Ben. From maintaining control of your assets to easing the burden on your loved ones, an estate plan can ensure that your family stays prepared and protected. If you're looking for a way to set up your estate to offer financial benefits and more, you need to check out Trust and Will. It is very, very important to make sure that you have a trust and will. And my wife and I have one. It's an annoying process, or it can be annoying, The folks over at Trust and Will make it a lot less annoying and a lot easier. If you're looking up a way to set up your estate to offer all of that, you need to check out Trust and Will right now. Traditional estate planning can cost thousands of bucks, and many one-size-fits-all solutions might not capture all the important details of the life you've built. With Trust and Will, you can protect your legacy from the comfort of your home, starting at just $159. They've simplified the process of creating and managing your will or trust online, from finding out what's right for your family to finalizing documents with a notary. Writing a will can be expensive, tedious. Trust and Will makes it affordable and easy. There's a reason. They have an overall rating of excellent with thousands of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. Secure your assets, protect your loved ones with Trust and Will. Get 10% off plus free shipping of your estate plan documents by visiting trustandwill.com/Shapiro. That's 10% off plus free shipping at trustandwill.com/Shapiro. So here is the question. Will things stay this way? Maybe they will. Not because Trump doesn't love being at the center of attention. There's literally no one who loves being the center of attention more than Donald Trump. Donald Trump is Kanye West versus Taylor Swift at the Grammys. I'm going to let you finish losing this election, but here's the thing. There's literally nothing he can do to change anyone's opinion of Donald Trump. Everyone has an opinion of Donald Trump, and they already know what they think about Donald Trump. What exactly could happen if he gets convicted? Did anyone's opinion about him change? But here's the other thing. Elections are about enthusiasm. This is what Democrats are counting on. Trump could theoretically reinvigorate enthusiasm against him if he busts through walls like a big orange Kool-Aid man. Oh, yeah. Trump is already giving hints that he might want to do this. So during his recent interview with Sean Hannity, for example, Sean asked him if he would be a dictator. It was a setup. It was a softball question because the entire left has been saying he's going to be a tyrannical dictator. And Sean was asking him, are you going to do that? And instead of just giving the obvious answer, which would have been ridiculous, they all want Donald Trump to say yes. I'm not a dictator. I was president already. They call me a dictator. Not a dictator. Real dictator, Joe Biden. Very easy answer. Instead, Donald Trump, because he is a performer and a comedian, he played to the crowd. And then he trolled the media by saying he wouldn't be a dictator except on day one. And what he meant is that, like Obama and like Biden, he would use a pen and a phone. And he said that he would be a dictator on day one by closing the border, for example, using the pen and the phone. It was a joke, but it also gave his enemies oxygen, which is why yesterday Trump had to actually explain that it was a joke. He put out a truth social saying, quote, fake news writer Peter Obama Baker of the failing New York Times, readership and subscriptions way down from the good old Trump years, whose claim to fame is that he will never write anything good about the great job President Trump did, in quotes, just wrote in a major front page story that I want to be a dictator, but doesn't mention it was said in a joking manner and completed with, but only for a day because I'm going to close the border and drill. A much different attitude and meaning. Now, Trump is right about all of that, but Trump also has a nasty habit of just pouring gasoline on fires. So Trump's enemies do have one playbook. He will be a dictator, right? Trump doesn't have to play into that. He might, but that is their playbook. This is what all the brilliant minds in the Democratic Party and the media have come up with. Trump Hitler, small mustache, funny hair, orange man Mussolini. Here was Matthew Dowd yesterday on MSNBC doing this routine.
Donald Trump wins all the key states because he lost nationally by 4 or 5 points in 2020 and barely lost the key states. And so that's what I think the Biden campaign needs to understand in the course of this. At some point, the Biden campaign has to let go of the idea of running this a referendum on Joe Biden or running it as a referendum on Bidenomics and turn this race to, here's the choice to present it before America. It's democracy versus dictatorship, and it's your freedoms versus your loss of freedoms in the course of this, including economic freedom in this.
Okay, so that is the magic they've come up with, is that Donald Trump is going to take away all of your freedoms. Now, that's probably not going to work because he was president already. But this is going to be their playbook. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.